The financial system is under attack. The cracks are beginning to show as banks are being bailed out and hard-working people yet again are left to pick up the pieces. This is unacceptable. We were told that after the 2008 financial crash that measures were put in place so that this could not happen again. Personally, I don't want to risk my family's financial future to find out if that's true or not. Are you prepared? Do you have a plan? Can you weather the storm with confidence? Don't be at the back of the line. Act now. Visit goldbusters.co.uk and protect your family today.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Very, very well. Thank you. And I hope I didn't rush you on.
Oh, no, it's fine. Yeah, I thought it was 11 my time. Technically, you meant to say 10. So, miscommunication. It's fine. No worries.
We got there in the end.
Ismael, hello. I love your hat.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I figured since we represent the white hats, we might as well wear a white hat, right? During our interview.
I love it. Love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so shall we start off with today's show, Ismael, speaking about Trump, the shooting? My question for us to start is, was it a Galactic Alliance intervention?
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, there was a meeting about a week ago, no, actually 5 days prior to the attempted assassination that took place in Cheyenne Mountains where we had several white hat generals present, members of the Galactic Alliance, because, they have access to time travel, they have access to probable future, so they know everything that's going to happen in real time. So what they did is they had a meeting knowing that this event was going to take place and how best to mitigate and counteract it so that it could actually fall in favor of the alliance. And it sure did, luckily. Due to the fact that they do have advanced technologies, that they're literally able to manipulate 3D reality at will, because to them, our reality is malleable. It is plastic. And the more you research and study quantum phenomena, the more you come to the understanding that, yes, time and space is bendable when it comes to our reality. So yeah, they were able to use technology. They were able to influence his autonomic nervous system to make that turn when he did right in the nick of time. And everything was just coordinated accordingly in order to make it, in order to preserve his life first and foremost, but knowingly that this would gain him more popularity, more acceptance by those haters that are brainwashed by CNN. So it was definitely a dark hat agenda, but it was mitigated and counteracted upon by the Alliance and the Galactics. Absolutely.
That's exactly what I said when it happened. So I'm glad that you've confirmed that. For the audience, sorry, I should have asked you to maybe introduce yourself to the ones that probably don't know who you are. And the question also being, are you part of the Alliance?
I actually am a mediator between the Galactics and the Alliance. So I mainly represent the Galactic Alliance here embodied in 3D form. So I am constantly getting transmissions and information, galactic reports, even beyond the scope of the 3D world. So I would say I'm mostly a mediator, you could say, between the Galactics and yes. I think you're muted, Drew.
Always muted, always. Okay, we've got a question from the audience that I was going to ask you. Tomorrow is the 8th of the 8th. Are we going to jump timelines? Is that a special date?
That's probably one of the most significant dates of the year beyond the Chinese New Year or, our January 1st, which, again, is all erroneous. The real calendar was overridden by the Gregorian calendar, which is controlled by the Cabal families. But to answer your question, yes, we are aligning once again with our spiritual sun, Sirius. And Sirius is where, in the galactic community, we know it as the anchor point of the office of the Christ, or the Palladorian covenant. And that is the epicenter of the guardian races in our universe. So yeah, it's a huge date. It's a huge date where every year our solar system, as it revolves around its central sun, it aligns with the spiritual sun. That's why many call it our spiritual sun. And what it does is it brings in light codes. It brings in cosmic energies that ultimately upgrade the human race if they're embodying it, of course, if they're in a state of peace and calmness during that day. So that explains why a lot of people within the spiritual community plan these huge global meditations on this very day, because in like manner, throughout history, the dark forces have also used these dates, but to invert the energies and use it for evil intentions. So that's why it's important that we light workers are also on it, and in order to make sure that we tilt that balance towards the light, because we're really close to something big happening that is going to definitely usher in a whole new era here on this planet. This is an event that has been prophesied about in every ancient account. They call it, in Christian traditions, they call it the millennium. In Eastern traditions, they call it the seventh golden age of enlightenment. And so we are at the cusp, in between ages, where the dark side, or may we say the Cabal families that have been running the show since, 34 something BC, they know that their time was up at a certain point, and they know that, and that's why they're trying so hard. But technically, they don't have nothing else to hold on. They don't have any final card to pull. All this fear-based propaganda about Project Bluebeam and this fake alien card that many are talking about in our community has been canceled by the Galactic Alliance. The Galactic Alliance will not allow any final card that might deviate from the divine plan of of God here on this planet. So there is a God, apparently known by many names, and that plan, that divine plan, is being held, and it's going to happen whether people are aligned with it or not. It's going to be happening. We are living in the best times ever in the history of our planet, and we are receiving help from forces that are beyond our scope. Some people call them the host of heaven. I understand that there is a large Christian audience, but when the disclosure takes place, there is going to be a massive revelation of all kinds of stuff beyond the corruption, beyond all of the lies and betrayals and the treasonous acts that the deep state has done. But it's also going to reveal the truth about who the Galactics are, as far as relating them to the angels in the Bible. So it's going to be a massive disclosure that's going to be taking place when the Cabal is finally exposed to the world.
So with what's happening at the moment, let's say in the UK with the riots and people being killed and stabbed and what have you, obviously that's orchestrated to keep us on a low vibration, is my opinion. At what point does the Alliance step in? At what point does it stop? Is this because there's a lot of people in 3D that need to still wake up to what's going on? Is it their time to leave this planet?
Yes, there will be some sort of a split, a vibrational split coming pretty soon, that is being initiated by what many people are expecting it as a solar flash event, and it's happening. I don't know if you are looking into the solar weather phenomena, but in the last few weeks, our sun has been releasing some of the most powerful CMEs. So the reason why there's a lot of crazy people out there that are just losing their psychology, they're just going insane, is because they're not acclimating to the new vibrational frequencies. Whereas the people that are evolving, that are awakening, they are acclimating to these vibrational frequencies. So this is also part of the prophecies. They said that in the end of time, there's going to be a large number of people that are going to go crazy because they don't know how to acclimate to the new vibrational frequencies. And at the same time, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be awakening. And so with that, there will be some sort of a split between those two realities. And this is what many traditions call the harvest, or I guess another term would be the rapture. But we are not going anywhere. All right. Another misconception is that we're going to be teleported to another Earth-like paradise. That is not true. Paradise is going to be on this planet. The only thing that's going to be happening is that this current illusionary hologram that was imposed on us by, we could say, the 200 fallen angels that took over, hence the Anunnaki in ancient times, is coming to an end. And the original Earth, the original Eden, is going to be available to only the good people of the world. And yes, there is going to be some sort of a quantum measurement of everybody's heart to see where everybody's at in terms of service to others, which is going to allow them to be shifting into this new Earth reality that is already coexisting, but in a different dimension. So all we're going to do is translate from one dimension to the next, in other words.
So if somebody's asked, can we become workers of the Galactic Alliance? Well, your part on Earth, you are pretty much kind of integrating with it, with the work that we do within ourselves and for others, is my intake. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, within the private sector, within the positive programs that were initiated by Eisenhower, and then later, of course, fully established by Kennedy before they, tried taking him out. And by the way, I received information that was also planned to make sure that he was preserved. So to our knowledge, we believe that he was taken out, Mr. Senior, right, in Texas. But no, he was actually, there was a double knowing that was going to happen, and they literally took him off world. So yes, within the private sector, a lot of Americans, a lot of members of the Alliance are already working within the Galactic Alliance. In fact, there are many interplanetary meetings that have been taking place for quite some time now between Earth delegates and members of the Galactic Alliance that are representing the different star nations, not only from across our Milky Way, but from across different galaxies that are all kind of meeting here on their headquarters on Ganymede, which is one of Jupiter's moons. So there's a lot of activity taking place. But yes, when the disclosure takes place, and as all of these colonies that were once only available to the breakaway groups are going to be given to the Earthlings. So definitely there's going to be a huge recruitment of Galactic Alliance membership where people of the Earth are going to have the opportunity to partake in these intergalactic fleets as well. Yes.
And is Trump a time traveler?
Absolutely, yes. Something that I revealed on my channel about 2 months ago is this concept of the Triple Temporal Alliance that was initiated by Nikola Tesla, who was a white hat, and John Trump, the uncle of Donald Trump. So what happened was Nikola Tesla actually was contacted by the Galactics, by the Pleiadians, Palladians, some people call them differently, but you know what I'm talking about. These are the positive races that have been actually working with us from behind the scenes, camouflaged as the angels in the Bible, by the way. When you read the Old Testament and we read about these angels appearing to different biblical key families, they were all Pleiadian, by the way. So what happened was the Pleiadians gave and the Andromedans, they were working with Tesla so that Tesla could develop time travel technology before the military-industrial complex, hence the Cabal did. So even before the Cabal developed time travel, it was already developed by Tesla. And John Trump was also a scientist, by the way, a master in MIT. I believe he had several degrees, extremely intelligent person. So they worked together to travel to the different coordinates, having access through Looking Glass to all the events that were going to happen in order to preserve key figures that are actually descendants of the bloodline of King David and Solomon. And that explains why there is a genetic relationship between the Kennedys, between Lincoln, between Marilyn Monroe, believe it or not, Queen Elizabeth, not Queen Elizabeth, no, that's a reptilian. I meant to say Princess Diana. Sorry, that was a goof, everybody. Princess Diana, and of course, what we call today, the families, the generals that are working within the alliance. So yeah, that's what happened. As Nikola Tesla developed time travel before the dark side did, and he was able to mitigate several events, including the preservation of John F. Sr., who is still alive, by the way, taken off world. And in fact, they brought him back when Trump won the 2016 election. And in one of his speeches, I think it was called the State of the Union speech, there was an old man that was sitting on a wheelchair with the cap. But that was actually JFK Sr. I don't know if you guys saw that clip. And he went and he shook his hand. So he's been under protection, just like Marilyn Monroe has. And of course, JFK Jr. They've been heavily protected by the Alliance and the Galactic Alliance.
Paul, I could ask a million questions. Do you want to jump in?
I am going to jump in because I'm just looking at the insiders' questions, Q&A, and it is filling up fast. So I hope you don't mind. We're going to jump in every so often with
Sure.
a few questions for you, Ismael.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you know Commander Thor? And that's from Karen's iPad.
You know, when I attend these galactic meetings, I actually leave my physical human body and I project my consciousness back to my galactic avatar. So we do operate different avatars, by the way. You know, that is something that I've been talking about. Our consciousness is so vast that it's able to embody different avatars all simultaneously. So to answer your question, yes, I have met Commander Valiant Thor. He is a representative of the Venusian Council of Venus, and he also works under the direction of Commander Corindor, who is in charge of the Association of Worlds. Now, many of your people might be asking, well, who is the Association of Worlds? I thought they were the Galactic Alliance. Well, the Galactic Alliance is so vast that, in other words, you know, they have to reorganize the different planetary systems and the different star systems into different conglomerates, you could say. So the Association of Worlds has a lot to do with the local cluster of stars that our solar system belongs to. There is a total of about 52 different star nations and about 600 to 900 planets that are part of the Association of Worlds. And the headquarters of the Association of Worlds isn't also on Ganymede and Jupiter. So yes, Valiant Thor is a key player in the liberation of planet Earth, but under the direction of Commander Corindor, who is at the head of the Association of Worlds, which is one branch of the Galactic Alliance. Again, the Galactic Alliance is so wide because they encompass hundreds of thousands, or rather hundreds of millions, millions of solar systems throughout the Milky Way. So it's all divided into different sections. You know, you have systems, and then systems coagulate to become constellation councils, and then there are many constellation councils that make up the entire galactic community.
Wow, thank you very much. Just another quick one. Do you work with Kim Grogan?
Do I know Kim? I have no clue. I don't really know her. People keep asking me about her. I haven't had a chance to look into her.
Okay. Is our world round or flat? And that is a question most people ask.
Well, you have to use common sense in terms of how energy works. And everything in existence is a toroidal field. It is a sphere. So I would say it's spherical, and therefore its physical counterpart is a globe. And it was brought to my attention a couple years ago that actually this flat Earth concept was initiated by the CIA. So it was a psyops in order to continue hiding the fact that there is a hollow Earth and inner Earth civilizations. And that's where all the continents were. When Admiral Byrd went to Antarctica, he went through a portal and described these different continents with different beings that were not human. He didn't say that there was a wall. He said, he clearly depicted it in his journal. He described how he met with several beings from other continents, but that's when he went through a portal. And so it's a psyops to hide the fact that the Earth is hollow, and more importantly, to conceal from the general public the fact that we do have a secret space program. So that's why it was created.
And what's the purpose of Hollow Earth? What are they hiding down there almost?
Well, you have to understand, first of all, civilizations on this planet have existed for millions of years, contrary to what we've been taught in our educational system or what we read in the Bible. In fact, a lot of those records were changed by the cabal in order to restart everything. So Most planets within our universe, or may I say the multiverse, are hollowed, about 85% of them. They do have an inner sun, and there are caverns, there are lakes, mountains, rivers, cities. And so they are a place where you could say surface civilizations have an opportunity to go and seek refuge from the surface world. And that's what happened when the last of the advanced civilizations was destroyed by the reptilian races who infiltrated Atlantis. Many of the surviving Atlanteans sought refuge in the Hollow Earth, and they continue to exist today. And in like manner, many of the surviving Lemurians, for those that didn't know that these civilizations existed, they do, also went to the inner Earth. So it is a safe haven for advanced civilizations who are trying to continue to live according to the law of one, which is cooperation and in balance with all living things.
Lovely, thank you. CCL has asked, Ismael mentioned Chinese New Year as an important date. Not sure if I heard correctly. Can we ask him to explain more? Is China's role somehow involved?
Well, we also have a good faction working with the Earth Alliance known as the White Dragon Community, or the Chinese Elders. The Chinese Elders are actually very, very advanced. At the head of the Chinese Elders, you have literal superhumans, people with telepathy abilities, with psychic powers that are actually working with the Earth Alliance. And so I wanted to say about the Chinese New Year, it's not as significant, though, as the real year, which begins in April. Those that do their research know that the real year always began in the spring. And the reason we begin our new year in January is because the timeline, or may we say our calendar, was hijacked by the Cabal families during medieval times, you could say, when they imposed the Gregorian calendar, or the Catholic Church rather did.
Lovely, thank you. Because that was just moving on to my next question relating to that calendar. So what is the real original time then? What month are we, and what day are we from the original timeline?
That's a very good question. So the sacred calendar, believe it or not, is actually the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar is a perfect timekeeping system that is aligned with the natural forces, with the planetary and stellar alignments, and the natural, you could say, menstrual cycle of a woman. Originally, we were supposed to have 13 months and 28 days, but again, when the Cabal families during the times of the Roman Empire hijacked for the third time, they hijacked it several times since they destroyed Atlantis, we've been operating under the wrong timekeeping system. So the sacred calendar is the Mayan calendar. And from my observation and from what I've been informed is that we're about 12 to 14 years behind. So that's why nothing happened in 2012, because technically 2012 was a wrong date. According to the Mayan calendar, 2012 is supposed to be 2024. So that explains why things are going to be heating up in the next few months as we approach December.
How long have you been part of the Galactic Alliance? When did they contact you, or is this something that you've always known?
I wasn't aware of it until I was about 21 years old, when I started meditating and going deep within myself. However, as a kid, I knew I was different. I was born with telepathy and several abilities that I couldn't figure out why nobody else had. I felt different to this realm. But then I was forced to suppress it due to my religious upbringing. So it took me a while to kind of remember why I was here. And I was informed that I wasn't the only one here, that there were millions of cosmic ambassadors, galactic emissaries that were sent to the Earth, but they agreed to have amnesia upon incarnating in human form. So for myself, I'm going to speak for myself. Due to my meditation, I was able to access and remember why I came here as a mediator between the galactic community and the planet Earth in order to help restore the Earth back into the galactic community. So to answer your question, ever since I was 21, 22 years old, that's when I knew that I was part human, part galactic as well.
I've also been asked, Ismael, are you saying that angels no longer appear to humans today? Also, what race are the angels?
The angels, well, there's different categories of angels. The original angels were birthed from the 12 archetypes: Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Raphael. Those were the 12 original archetypes that emanated from Prime Creator when Prime Creator decided to expand itself in order to explore more of itself. So the 12 archetypes were the first, you could say, expansion of that one infinite consciousness that many call God. And those archetypes further had children, or in terms of mathematics, further divided, right? The fractal and the hologram are one and the same. We see the whole in the piece, and each piece, as it divides, it contains the whole. That's why everything is integrated and holistic. But to answer your question, the angels were the offspring of the archetypes of the archangels. And then in turn, the angels gave birth also, or further divided into fragments. And that's how we came about. So we are part of that celestial family. So I argue with those who say that we are evolved from apes and that the Anunnaki created us by mixing, primitive genetics with their genetics. No, that is not true. According to the real records, our kind, which again descended from the angelic kingdom, the Atlanteans, were a degenerative race of the original 12-strand DNA human being, which was known as the Terranusian race. So all the Anunnaki did was just kind of tampered with our genetics in order to create a slave race. But they knew that their time of controlling this planet was also going to be coming to an end when our dormant DNA reactivated, which is happening now with the CMEs that are coming in.
Wow. That is a wealth of information condensed right there, Ismael. Thank you for that. This moves me on to the next question I've got from anonymous attendee. I haven't read the whole Bible, but some Christians are saying that if we see UFOs, it's demons tricking us, and the elites will use blue beam to do this. Can you ask Ismael about this?
That is another misconception that, again, was initiated by the CIA in order to keep us from wanting to make contact with our galactic community. Think of the Fermi paradox or the Fermi concept. There are many worlds out there. We're dealing with billions of solar systems and billions of galaxies just within the known universe, which is only the 4%. That's all they can measure. And there's still 96% of what they cannot measure. So we do live in a vast conscious creation, you could say. So that is a misconception in order to keep us dumb and trapped into this reality so that our Earth could never become part of the galactic community. And I also want to incorporate that there is duality in everything. So just like how we have negative aliens, right? The reptilians, the grays, the insectoids, just to name a few, negative invasive AI. We also have positive races, the Pleiadians, or Palladians, however you want to call them, the Andromedans, the Arcturians, the Lyrans. The list goes on. So on a galactic and universal level, this battle between the Cabal and the White Knights, or White Hats. Now, in my book, The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, I call them the White Knights because they go back to Abraham. Technically, they go back to Shem, who was the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. If you really want to go back to where the White Hats originated. They were the reorganized Council of Atlantis, by the way. But to answer your question, this entire war has been going on between positive races, interstellar civilizations, and negative races. Now, what distinguishes these two races is that the positive races are living according to the laws of one, which is service to others. However, the negative races always deter and rebel against that in service to self. And that explains their exploitation of resources, planets, and so on and so forth.
Right. Oh, there's so many questions, Ismael. You have unlocked a Pandora's box of questions. Normally I can filter through them all and get the real juicy ones, but wow, I'm just grabbing as many as I can.
Can I step in for a minute?
Well, I also have a YouTube channel where I'm constantly giving updates and sharing all of this information and much more.
Drew, please, can you drop the link in? Because they're all asking for it as well.
Yeah, it's called The Real Ismael Perez YouTube channel.
Ismael, can you talk more about the quantum measurement you said they'll do on our hearts?
Absolutely. So the QFS system, which, by the way, was initiated by Tesla. See, when it comes to modern day White Hats and the reorganization, it goes beyond it goes beyond Eisenhower in Kennedy. It actually originated with Nikola Tesla. He knew that the only way that humanity could thrive in a world where everything is decentralized is if a technology would be able to read through frequency the degree of how much love people generate from their heart. So this QFS is an organic living technology. It's not artificial intelligence, by the way. There is a difference. And the way it's set up, or the way it's going to be set up, is the more people generate love and service to others, the more kindness they portray, the more money they're going to receive. Therefore, they're going to have an ability to use it for humanitarian projects. So that's what I was informed. That is, everything's going to be related to how much love and generosity you generate from your heart. So the more loving and compassionate you are, right, the closer you are to living a Christ-like life, a person that is transparent, that is righteous, the more is going to be coming to you.
Do you think that will coincide with the RV soon?
Yes, it's all connected. Yeah, the RV. And speaking of the RV, did you guys know that the original RV, could be traceable back to King Solomon, the son of David, almost 5,000 years ago?
I think you need to elaborate on that.
Oh, sure.
He does.
So basically, the Rodriguez Trust, right? We have Saint Germain Trust. We have the Rodriguez Trust. The Rodriguez Trust came before the Saint Germain Trust. It goes all the way back to Solomon. Okay, so Solomon, and this is something that Simon Parks validated when I had a brilliant conversation with him on my channel last week, is that he was tasked with gathering all the treasures and golds from the Cabal families during the days of Babylon in ancient times. Because the truth of the matter is, they wanted to see who could hoard most of the gold and treasures so that they could distribute it to their descendants. So throughout history, we've seen this happening. Solomon was the first to accumulate the golds and treasures, and he was able to safeguard them in special spots, most underneath his temple, deep in the underground, knowing one day that his descendants, thousands of years later, would excavate it and then, again, preserve it and continue carrying forward to this day in the presence, which manifested in the form of the Rodriguez Trust. That all began with Solomon. So if you're wondering who these descendants were, they were actually the Knights Templars, the real Christian crusaders during medieval times, the enemies of the Roman Catholic Church. So the Knights Templars were key, you could say, in charge of rediscovering Solomon's treasures and hoarding them by keeping them away from the Vatican, because during medieval times, the Vatican was the reorganized Roman Empire, which is the Cabal that reorganized itself 1700 years ago. And so when the Knights Templars were later persecuted by the Vatican, what they did is they camouflaged themselves as the original pirates to continue preserving the treasures that will lead to today. And that explains why the original pirates would go to the different islands and X marks the spot. Only they knew where the treasures were in the gold.
My next question is regarding new technologies that are coming. Have you experienced any new technologies that you can tell us about?
Well, based on my meetings, off-world meetings, I've seen things beyond medbeds. I know medbeds is something that everybody's talking about. I've seen holographic advanced regenerators that could literally formulate or develop any limb within 2-3 hours. I've also seen technologies where you literally go into a pod and they literally regenerate you. So age is not a factor anymore. We could all live 25, 30 years forever. And I've also seen technologies known as cocoon chambers that are literally able to restore your not only physical health, but this is how they rehabilitate criminals in the galactic community. Realign your mind with a frequency that is in service to others. So these are cocoon chambers that not only deal with physical ailments, but with mental disease such as schizophrenia or narcissism, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I've seen some amazing tech that exists.
Do you think the Galactic could take those kind of people off planet here on Earth fix them and then bring them back?
Absolutely, and they have. By the way, they have. Just recently, about 2 weeks ago, apparently it turns out that some of the negative aliens, some of the reptilians, were still hiding within the inner Mars colonies, inside Mars, not the surface. And so they were actually defeated when they were detected by members of Solar Warden, who are the positive space programs working with the Galactic Alliance. And we were able to free about 2 million humans that were being used for slave labor and for food for these negative aliens. And now they have been recuperated by these technologies. Yes, they have been regenerated. And of course, due to their heavy trauma, they were also healed by using the cocoon chamber. So yeah, these technologies are definitely being used on humans that have been taken off world to be exploited upon and used as slave labor.
Ismael, someone's asked, when we ascend, will we see our deceased loved ones?
Absolutely, yes.
What can you tell us about people who have Rh negative blood type?
Oh, that is a very popular question. It turns out that only about 12 or 13% of the world population are Rh negative. And scientifically speaking, Rh negative means minus the rhesus monkey protein. So what that means is that people that are Rh negative don't have the primitive gene. Remember how I mentioned that during the times when the Anunnaki came to the planet, there was two coexisting races. We had Homo habilis, a simian race that developed in Africa, various branches, right? And then we had the 12-strand DNA original humans that were the Atlanteans. And so the Rh negative are those that come from a pure line strain of galactic DNA mixed with Atlantean DNA minus the Homo erectus monkey DNA. That's what they are. So they don't have the monkey gene. In other words, they are what you call blue bloods, pure bloods. Another thing to identify their blood is they don't have iron blood, they have copper blood. So there is a difference. So that explains why people with Rh negative could only take their blood. However, people with Rh positive could take Rh negative blood. Two different species coexisting on this planet. And throughout history, most of the scholars, the greatest thinkers, the philosophers, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo's, those are members, or they have been descendants of the Rh negative. Which explains their higher capacity to their higher mental faculties that they use.
Oh, Drew, have you got a question, or can I jump in?
Go on, jump in.
Excellent. Ismael, you have to excuse me because the Galactics is all new to me. I'm a little bit late to my awakening journey, shall we say. Ishmael, have you seen the real Ark of the Covenant, the menorah, and who is hiding them? That's from Karen's iPad.
They have been careful. Okay, so Solomon was entrusted to preserve and protect the Ark of the Covenant. And after Solomon's death, it was taken over to Jerusalem, where it was hidden by Jesus and his community, which was also a secret society. Did you guys know that Jesus and his people, John the Baptist, James the Just, Mary of and all the different Marys, Bethany, you could say, they were all part of a positive secret society known as the Community of Qumran, or the Essenes. And they were also the carriers of the torch of what we call today the Brotherhood and Sisterhood of Light, the White Knights. So they preserved it. Later, it was uncovered by the Knights Templars. The Knights Templars took it over to Scotland. And then from Scotland, we don't know where it went. And that is supposed to remain a mystery because the Cabal families have been after that artifact for thousands of years because it is a source of power. Believe it or not, it is a source of power. It also acts as an interdimensional doorway to other realms when used in the right circumstances. You have to have a certain rod and a certain, which acts as a key to access the technology known as the Ark of the Covenant, you could say.
Yeah, it's been moving around quite a bit.
It's been moving around, yeah. But in order to keep it safe from the dark side, because if the dark side gets a hold of that, they're going to use it for malevolent purposes, and we don't want that.
Ishmael, people are asking, how do they attain the level of meditation that you do? What is your process, or do you take something to help, or is it?
I don't take any mushrooms. I don't take ayahuasca. I do it all natural. I've never even tried mushrooms, believe it or not. So it's a matter of going deep within yourself, learning how to calm your mind and body, learning how to really access what we call the alpha brain wave state and the delta brain wave state. And in order to do so, you have to learn certain techniques. Now, I do teach courses. I teach people how to become multidimensional, how to access their own Akashic records. In my website, for those that are interested in taking my courses, you could go under our cosmicorigin.com and learn all about this stuff. In addition to getting the entire download of the cosmic and galactic history of the multiverse.
I have a question.
Sure.
From Rick. Ishmael, how does this fit in with what you are saying when Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes through the Father but through me?
That is a very good question. Okay, so one of the things that I've come to understand is that Jesus spoke in parables. The metaphor describing, and he did, there is a, I don't know if it's in the book of John or Matthew, where he clearly states that to the masses, he speaks in parables, but to his inner disciples, he reveals the mysteries of God. So what he meant when he said, no one could come through the Father but through me, I am the everlasting life, is, first of all, you have to understand that he attained a very high level of consciousness where he merged his individual human mind with the mind of everything, with the entire universe. He became one with everything. So as a result of that, he was letting us know, as a metaphor, that the only way to access universal consciousness, which is becoming one with everything, one with the Father is the mind, the logos of the universe. For those that have studied Hermetic and metaphysical knowledge, you have to do what I did. You have to do it. He said it. You have to go through me, but he was speaking in terms of himself being one with the universal logos. So the universal logos was speaking through him. You have to do it through me. The universal logos was saying you have to do it through me. So he came to show us the way to reunite our individual unit of consciousness with the larger universal consciousness, which is known as the All. And that's what he was exemplifying when he said, I and the Father are one, me and you are one. Basically, he was just letting us know what quantum physics is now telling us, that everything is integrated. There is, everything's connected. It's just one big cosmic consciousness experiencing itself through all of us and all living things.
What's your outlook, Ishmael, in what's going to happen with the elections and what's going on with Israel at the moment? Do you think we'll get to the door of world war, as they're kind of making it look like at the moment?
Yeah, I wouldn't believe the fake news. Everything that comes out of that box is dogwash. What do they call hogwash? That's the word. One thing that people need to understand is that the Galactic Alliance will not allow any nuclear weaponries to be unleashed. In fact, there is so much ample evidence that in the last 60 to 70 years, there has been galactic fleets near and around nuclear plants that have dismantled, or you could say disabled, nuclear plants for the very reasons that this planet is so important to the galactic community that they will not allow anything of that degree to take place. So all of these little conflicts that are taking place is just part of the fear narrative to make the masses believe that that the Third World War is inevitable. And just like Project Bluebeam, the fake alien invasion that they were going to implement through holographic advanced alien technology was canceled, so has the Third World War. We are literally on a trajectory towards a positive, optimal timeline where the kingdom of God, where the golden age is scheduled to materialize on this planet.
So when I die,
Mm-hmm.
do I go to
Not
heaven?
anytime soon, I hope.
Do I go to heaven? Or
Well, heaven is a dimensional frequency. Again, I'm going to quote Jesus the Christ. Heaven is all around us. It's just that people don't see it. So it turns out that every earth reality is all around us. It's just operating on different frequencies. So when this shift takes place due to the great solar flash, the good people of the earth are going to be translated and their bodies are going to be upgraded. No more illness, no more health issues, no more aging. And that's what heaven is. Heaven is a state of reality where there is no more corruption, there is no more cabal, and everyone and everything is in living in harmony with one another, which is fifth dimensional earth reality.
Ladies and gents, I've got to shoot off because I've got an interview in a little while. So I need to go grab a bite to eat and stuff. Ismael, thank you for joining us. Wow, just wow. And we haven't even got through half the questions that have been asked. So we definitely need to get you back on, please. And insiders, I'll catch you all later. Take care. God bless. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Paul. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to talk as long as my son lets me because my 4-year-old loves my attention all the time. Don't you? Yes. Open. Okay, we're opening. Here we go. Okay, let's talk about the EBS.
Mm-hmm.
When do you reckon that's going to happen? Because I see, it's going to happen soon. It's happening soon. It's happening soon. I'm just fed up of seeing it online because I know it's not happening so soon as they said. What's your intake in that?
Well, we need an event, a catalyst for that. And I think that, we have to be patient. It's real. First and foremost, the EBS is real. It's through Project Odin, when the White Hats take over the media and the airwaves, through the new satellite system known as Starlink, they will be broadcasting, but they are waiting. They are waiting for enough people to awaken, you could say. Otherwise, it's going to cause a lot of cognitive dissonance to the masses, and they don't want that because that could backfire, and that could result in civil unrest. Or worldwide unrest, rioting, all kinds of stuff. So they're waiting for the perfect time, and nobody knows exactly when it's going to happen. And even if we were told, we would probably have to sign an NDA because they don't want to give their plans to the cabal. But just know that we're not being censored. As Trump comes back to the White House in November, we should be expecting something like that happening. Absolutely.
Someone's Elon Musk. I'm not sure what you guys want to ask about Elon Musk, but Elon Musk?
Oh, there's two. There's two Elons. There is the Elon that is assisting the White Hats, that is actually the builder of the Starlink satellite system that will take over the current cabal's satellite systems. And then you have the AI Elon, which is a cybernetic simulation, you could say, of Elon that is building the neural lace to implant people with the chip. So you have two Elons. You have the good Elon, and then you have the AI Elon. So this is where I tell people to have discernment. There are two Elon Musk. And yes, people like that always get cloned, by the way. So some believe that there's multiple Elon Musk. So we just have to have discernment as to what we're listening to. But I guarantee you that the Elon Musk who is bad-mouthing Kamala Harris is the real Elon.
That's magic, that is. And the one that wants to have an interview with Trump is the real one.
Absolutely, yeah, that's the real one.
Will there be another Trump assassination, a fake death? Now, have you seen this in your psyche at all? Any hunches?
No, luckily no. That was the final attempt and they failed. And they know that because that was their final. I mean, what else can they do? They try to take away his money. They try putting him in jail. They try to, do all kinds of things. And so that was the final thing. After that, they know that their time is up. So we're not going to be experiencing or witnessing another fatal attempt at his life.
Oh, that's good, because I was dubious about that. Any timeline for the med beds being released? People are so desperate for the med beds.
I know. I know it's a huge concern. So many illnesses out there that are, that many people are being plagued with. And the answer to that question is we have to be patient. Just know that the med beds are here. They are being mass manufactured in certain key places on the planet by the white hat military. And as soon as the EBS goes through, it's going to be within a matter of days that they're going to release the technologies as well. And this actually corresponds with that biblical prophecy of how there's going to be an end to illness and there's going to be an end to diseases at the end of time. Well, that's what's going to be happening when the medbeds are rolled out. And what we're going to also see is the elimination and collapse of the pharmaceutical cartel, the American Medical Association. All of that stuff is going to be eliminated, not just the cabal, but that's all part of the cabal's infrastructure anyways.
I can't wait. Cannot wait for that to happen. Chemtrails. What's your thought on chemtrails? Are they spraying us with crap in the air, or is it to help us?
Oh, it's borium, aluminum, all kinds of stuff. And if you study the periodic table of elements, borium is abbreviated with Ba, and aluminum is abbreviated with Al, which is Baal. Baal was the Babylonian god of the reptilian human hybrid cabal families that has been ruling our world for a few thousand years. So they have been and they continue, but all that's coming to an end soon.
But the Galactics will help us with the fact that they want to implement the 5G, 6G, the fact that they're using our bodies as an antennae to surveillance us, in fact, because if people think that surveillance isn't here at the moment, where they want to, turn the UK, let's say, into a communist country, the fact is that they can see us already in our homes, through our Wi-Fi's, through our smart tellies, through our Alexas, through our mobile phones. So we're under surveillance already. And I don't know if people get that fact, but what's going to happen is it going to be AI versus the galactic in a sense? Technology?
Well, that's a good question, Drew. This all boils down to the timeline split that I talk about. So people that are not partaking, that are awake, that are not partaking in this, virtual reality augmentation, digital avatars, and so on and so forth, are going to be going into a positive timeline where there is no AI technology, where there is no smart cities, no more surveillance. And then some people, like the billionaires, who are being sold on the fact of being immortal, but as long as they merge with the tech, are unfortunately going to go into a dystopia technocratic timeline. But those two realities are going to coexist in different, you could say, they're not going to coexist. They're going to be separating it. Right now, they're coexisting. They're going to be separated. And for 1,000 years, they're going to be existing in their own realities. And at the end of the millennium, which is, again, another clue in the Bible, right? There's going to be one final battle against evil. Well, who do you think evil is? The Antichrist is AI.
Okay, I think we have had a blast today, guys. So I'm going to end the show on a really good note and say thank you very much. You haven't been on for a while, so I really, really did enjoy this show. So I'll be in touch to book you on for next month. Save your lovely questions, guys, for next time. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye for now.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.